Lamadang Gombo Jedzum Jambe Yala Jazal Kange Lodru Jimni Jindran Nida Namda Rabzavi Jini Dungun Jijin Zinjin Niji Doga Lebans Kanda Zibe Zerama Mondon Donga Jizirvi Rozo Ngola Boji Daraz Yela Joju Yandis Rodaranjin Nyomo Nilung Meji Jado Drunzej Mare Munze Donga Nyugu Jini Jodze Raldinam Dene Daji Saju Darzu Yende Lezo Jalze Doe Joda Joda Juni Jendri Dale Munzel Jam Yala De Barabadana Om Mara Bazanandi Zeden Jeje Jeravazeret Talu Demo Mumbaravzali Kadan Denju Jolo Tobai Lodru Bobi Nawan Zaldosu Kanze Dawar Debam Jose Chewar Denayam Kombo Jamyan Denin Keme Baryan Dovar Hola, so ni samba chacha wa changju samji kolong ge sal tamne selo nang ta de la kangju sambar chawe choji remba ne chonji kum rim rapsal ni mare da de ni shuwa la ni tenji kang sa je sa ji tangbo de shu chum ne tan je bang la zo kangju jube samba dire ta kangju jube samba 강구 주고 삼바도 술 주들 주고 자와 인자로 다데라 주줄 dombalangdang de kollaje ta dombalangdang de gazo jorwa ngoshi che namosum yong yore ta che sum yobe nan de gazo jorwa dombalang 장주 섬제 domba de kandes lango re de ne jorwa de kolla lepte yore kanzanda na 장주 섬바 대보시 무추 냠린 제기 남네 그러다가 냠즈랑샤는 되게 말해 근데 당분간라 소자지 가래 소더 말해 장주선배 돈바데 랑줄라 랑고고 요래 장주선배 돈바데 랑바네 송데 아는 강사데 장주선바 차도고 요래 는 장주선바 차서고 제라 는 장주선배 라바나 셰샤부 최도도 는 소소소소 로규당 템바 는 강강장 냠도 랑고고 요래 텐데 인도네 당보 네 담랑당 간데레 제 랑줄 거데 나조다나 셰신바인 바 디나나다 조르와디 콜라 이마레 조르와 나나다 야라 둔둔 조송 조구 여상 네 가서 야라 가시 유튜버레 다 숨바 대바셰베 야라데 칼레슈아이
That's all. So please start by giving rise to beautiful motivation, pure motivation, that of bodhicitta, the awakened mind. And then with that wish, please listen to the teachings. We're studying a text which is a step-by-step guide to meditating on the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, or the way of the Bodhisattvas. That is entitled The Brightly Shining Sun. Here we have already covered the first topic, which is the practitioner. That topic, the section explains who is the right person, who is the right support for engaging in the path of the Mahāyāna, the greater vehicle. Afterwards, we proceeded to the second section, which is concerned with the attitude with which one practices. The third will be the actual practices themselves. So in this way, we have seen that, first of all, for someone who is interested, who strives to practice the Mahāyāna path, the great vehicle path, and bring all beings to enlightenment, first of all, they need to gender the proper attitude, right? Which is the second section. What is the attitude here? In other words, if someone wishes to practice, that wish is not enough. Just, I want to, engage in generosity, etc., and so on and so forth. First of all, such an individual, proper support, needs to take a vow, bodhisattva vow, and that vow makes one a bodhisattva, right? One's name changes, one's status changes, and one becomes a bodhisattva. And afterwards, one should or supposed to engage in the trainings, in the bodhisattva trainings, according to one's own capacities, right? To some degree, everyone should be engaging in the practices. So in terms of our text, what we are looking at now is a preparation for taking a vow, right? Because when it comes to taking the bodhisattva vow, we have, first of all, preparation. Then we have the main part, which is the vow itself, and then the conclusion. But before taking the vow, we need to prepare ourselves, and we're doing that by practicing the 7-branch prayer, the 7-branch practice, among which we have finished the first branch, that of offering, and in the last class we also covered the second branch, that of going for refuge, and today we will continue with the third branch, that is confession of negative actions.
나가서 숨바 대바샤바 쇼남 소지 샤율라 켐바라 솔데 응아제기 대발라 콩도 토소바다오 된 건조 숨라 돈에서 멘바다고 님보 담배줘라 멘다고 송샤도 제르다 숨바 대바샤베 야라레 다 대바 가리지티 샤고고레 세드사나 네, 다 연락 좀 받는서 상마 단다 인규 장주선 담바 줄라 라인 저러래. 저러도 오늘도 외쳐 인설이로와. 장주선데 하정게는 자전부제다. 하정게는 당마 정면하신데. 그래서 상계지 고방 토베지 규 도망 많이 받대. 규소데 장주 예선 좀 보셔야 차고요. 다 제도의 선 좀 보셔 자전부지 랑줄라 난고고이나 선 히디 장마 야보지 소마도 바이나 되게 요마 빼나가서 세 장마 야보지 누고 사고요나 네 야보고라 네 장마 거와 노 저보지 나라 아니 칼라 야보지 루샤나 미스나 사기 말에 가서 네 호나 조샤사로와 칼라 가수 야보요나 양 그거 되게 요마래 뒤로 알레 네 야보지고 네 장마 소고요나 아니 고 당보 소남지 속사에 제도 아주 처벌표에 근데 다르게 남나서에 제도 어느 건조선도 캡수 쳔바래 다 소소 kalpa thomene yeshakbaji tegba minraw mangbo yuri yonzo di tanda kejinila meba chaktubeda kaya yo marade ina tegba di chungdu tanya tabla shaba che kuku yuri tegba di da shakwe shaya di tene da shakuku yuri alengon la shakyul de saltab songshadwa 때 샤부치고 수르바 등구여나 샤울 믹스에 살다 보그래 단다도 연락 된바 상마 냠도 두고 요장 샤울 믹스 수르바 살마다나야 괜찮게 개요 말해 그래서 당분에 거란 든지 남과 될라 산제다 장주 삼바 탐제 살다 차러와 산제 장주 삼바 니랑 다좀 발라서바 살다 차도 된사랑 네 제가 살다 봐 양자 전설로 지체는 되그래 디다 장알라 아니 다 챘나마 상마니 인체로나 코로나 네데바니 샤바 푸기 인좀 야라드는 콘솔로지 쉬고 그래 어디로지든 콘솔선인데 챔버 솔데 세도 어디래 되네 디절로는 간다고 그래서도 대바지 샤고고나 냠버 톱시 인지 민지 된 거고도 와 되나라 아니 대바라 콘도 독송 왔다고 세근데 올라랑 레그래 순진배 톱세그래 순진배 톱스 땅어마디 겨버 나도 하고네 대바 가서 제 얘기를 하마고네 대바 가서 제 이거 조금 말해 미 망보지 가르 정거서는 대바산에 전용매서 가르치 남도서 내 미선용매서 내 꼬마 잡용매 자장아 내가 단다 버도 대바 제 말을 그래 그런 디디급서 나잘게 돼요와 니랑 대바래 디디바이 뭐 고수요 말해 제도 대바서도서는 나도 고숨지 자요와 류직보다 낙직보다 대바 자 얘기 대바 많이 바이는 계속 하거든 다른 누가 최초도 이래 얘기 콜롱기요 만도나 콜롱기 삼로지 시마선은 류다 나가지 대바 제도 하 말어와 단면바 잡아당 선랑 신날도 맨날 값수 더 믹스에 징이지 요기라 마도 셴팔지 콜롱기 요왕원도 땅네 누가지 잡아지 그래 되게 다 콜롱 레저시나 티모츠 제비 도숨기 군의 랑바암다 동아 라소모 녀모바 든지 군의 랑네 랑아지 잡아잖아 근데 대바래 대가서 학원에 가서 제기 한 마고는 가서 제기를 깔바 통면다 나는 것도 참이라 봐 다들 상마 잡을 줘봐고요 내 하고다 마고 강 잡다디 티치나 대와셔지 주 시여와 미셰바스 근지로 네 미셰바다 네 밤에 온도 샤워와당 네 다츠 미셰바다 마귀바 미셰바다 마귀바다 밤마치바다 녀몽바 마와 어디 시부지 깬체네 하는 가서 대보 뭐 저러고도 어다 된저 삼마 빼서도 가서 단다 코반나로 또 송와이나 겨바지그로 남성 어떤에 고쳐 마소신데 두 사샤서 디 두이 망에 하고서 데스 남미션데 사서 당가 sab자진에 따다 이만은 코페 남성 면항 도에 탑제 당제 놓고 사 멤버들다 두디 멤버스 탑제 칸 다지 다게 당거를 마도 당가 코반나 도도서 야가라 끼발라서는 미시라시라 된다고 말해 다가 갑나 근데 쌤나 간에 슈트긴 메란시 작은 카시가지 닝제대로 연구도 와 마도 바신 파제바지 된거 말고 빼사송선 들 겨바 슈지 계기래 다들 쌤들 동아지 계기로 와 아주 대 nga 하고나 마고 하고이나다 마고이나다 제비 대발라 되지 줘가지 그래서 되게 냠보 가서 냠보라 순진배 또블라 그래서
So let's look at the third branch, that of confession of negative actions. In other words, here we confess or apologize for our evil deeds or negativities, our faults. So, how to understand this branch? If we look at the bigger picture, right, of taking a vow, the Bodhisattva vow is extremely precious, is very, very pure, right? Actually, it is the unique, extraordinary cause for our awakening. Bodhicitta is that, very special cause for achievement of enlightenment. And the vow is so pure. And when we take it, basically, it's like a person who takes the vow should also have a very pure mind. Basically, the foundation, the ground should be very pure, should be purified. For example, like a vessel where we're going to put some delicious meal or, pour a drink. For example, if we have a very, very tasty rice, right? And then if we look at the bowl, well, it's really dirty. No one cleaned it ever, all stained. I mean, who is going to put, right, really nice, delicious, freshly cooked meal into this dirty bowl, that vessel that has never been cleaned, right? It's not something that we will even consider. In the same way, so to say, the vessel, in other words, of our own minds, if it's not, it hasn't been cleaned, the vow, which is so pure and precious, will be corrupted, will become spoiled. And therefore, we engage in the seven branch practice in order to prepare ourselves for that vow. We make offerings, we go for refuge, so we attain liberation. And the next one is that we need to apologize, we need to confess for all of our negative deeds. Of course, it's not going to annihilate all of them, but it's going to reduce the amount of negativity that lies dormant in our mind stream. And how do we do that? So here the text states that with the verse 27, where we visualize the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the space in front of us, right? Then we pray to those who will receive our confession when we request their understanding, while considering that our past misdeeds are like poison within our body. The free jewels who are our support are like physicians who can heal the sickness brought on by the poison. The antidote, which is the sacred Dharma, is like medicine, and the firm resolve not to repeat such actions in the future is like ambrosia, like nectar that restores the body to full strength. Now, this is the proper way of engaging in the practice in the branch of confession. In other words, we start by, again, bringing to mind or visualizing in space in front of us the perfect Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all beings. We don't need to spend a lot of time here, visualizing all of them, like this field of merit, because we have done that in the previous practice of refuge. And we usually, we do the branches one after another. It's not like we have a weekend in between. So, in other words, we already have the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and we're surrounded by all sentient beings, right, from taking the refuge previously. Here, of course, if somehow we forgot or kind of lost vividness of our visualization, we can just recollect quickly. We don't need to spend long time. We just have to believe they are there, trust that they are present in front of us, right? And then we ask them to consider us. We ask them for their understanding, for their consideration. Please kind of look at us and consider us. And when we start the actual practice of confession, going through the verses, what is very important is that we rely on the four powers. Yeah, there are the four powers that are also mentioned in between the verses in the following pages, and they are connected to these 4 points that were just read. So first of all, when we confess, we have to cultivate the power of regret, and that's the first line in this bullet among the 4 bullet points, which reads, consider our past misdeeds. Consider that our past misdeeds are like poison within our body. So this is the power of regret. When we engage in a practice of apology or confession, we have to start by giving rise to genuine regret. Right? We need to have remorse about all the negativities that were committed knowingly and unknowingly. Many people say, well, I don't have any negativity. I haven't really, performed any negativities. I didn't kill anyone. I didn't steal anything. So I'm fine. I'm pure. That's already arrogance. And that's actually already a negativity. In other words, we don't here consider only severe negativities of body and speech, right? Like stealing, lying, or killing. But mostly, we actually accumulate negativities in our minds. And the mind is the most powerful one. Between the body, speech, and mind, whatever we do, say, or think, mind is the chief. That's what governs all the other actions. We're not going to do something physically or say something verbally if we haven't had an intent, first of all. So everything comes from intent. And so mind is, is the chief that all the actions of body and speech actually depend upon. And a lot of negativity happens in our minds, right? We basically here mean our jealousy, our competitiveness, arrogance, right? Attachments and covetousness and ill will, all of that. It's all should be considered like poison within our body, right? So most of negativities have 4 causes. According to the Dharma, we engage in all these negativities or negative actions, negative emotions. First of all, because of not knowing, not having knowledge about what's good, what's bad. Second reason is that we are just careless. We know, but, well, we don't care, let's say. The third reason is that we don't have respect or consideration for others, right? And the last one is that we have a very, very afflicted mind. So all the negativities happen because we have a lot of afflictive emotions. And so all the negativities, all the negative actions, all misdeeds that happen out of us not knowing, being careless, not respecting, or being afflicted, they basically should be regarded as a poison that we have swallowed by a mistake. That kind of a sense of remorse about the negativity should resemble the sense of remorse or regret if we just found out that by some stupid mistake we just swallowed poison. Imagine people who just found that out, they're going to rush to hospital. Of course, there are exceptions where people might have taken poison volitionally in order to end their own life. Of course, it's very sad. It's not the case here. We talk about most people who just, by mistake have swallowed poison, and most of them won't think, great, wonderful, hey, here you come. Most of them will be like, what have I done, right? That sense of real remorse, real regret. It's painful. We're going to experience pain of remorse, right? Like it's not comfortable. So we need to generate that kind of regret with regards to our own past misdeeds and negativities. That's the first power that we rely on, power of regret.
Ten kunjo sumla dugne sovi memba ta wosa. Ane ta ngazu khokba nala duk sana mendo nyomma bala soba mekewa roa yima ina ta mekewa di shaya meba chaya meba reba sana tenne mare. Ane Patrul Rinpoche ji yang shung kasha nala dekba la yunden yuwa mare de sha na taya yuwa ba de dekba yunden nin sungu yore. 자상 샤나 땡땡 다요래. 다에 면데 명라 또 군조 좀 쓰게 요래. 군조 좀 쓰듯은 저 약부 들어와. 선제이디 저 땡겐데 저는 람마마데레 견든데 람로를 봐. genzoji lamte banase tada chemba yina ngazo deba mege ode tenden meba chaayore ta tenden meba chaagyo ba indu ana de nalo konjo sumnane chedan konjo sumde tenji topsigre pangbo shagsaji konjo sum salda bera de nane ta dambe chödi nyemba kundu chube tobnya lam chogre nyamne ngone chede chöre 저 냠즈말랑나 나서 대바 가주네 다도 말해 눈도 건조 좀 살다 네 근데 대바 제주도 여바 된 된데 삼지 대바 또 충도 조고래 대바 윤대 가도 보여주래 대바 매버자도 말해 삼면서 오는 냠는 제라 하다 냠는 제용에 아니 돈비 가서 그래 님하고도 좀또 담배 쳐야 되래 아니 님보 담배 쳐 라면다고 다 대랑송도 쳐거는데 다 맨나신 맨 군주섬데 멤버도 지인바이나 쳐도 맨 얼마들에 되요래 어디 두세제 천재 메제 보통선 semla suwi chulen duzetawu dushe dangshita didi dombi topsikoro chenze nge sola pama kante chun nezu tokbayi na nge mekewa chege medas damja kelen che gogyo damja kelen che sona nga zo kelen damja che sawa chile midi sabza chegirwa o nge didi kelen che sayi nge di damja che sayi zino ko nangme dangi mishirwa na sabza yonela Shedrub deba chukche chigre. Me kaje ta kelin damja chena yang na nangmen dang meba mar yo da mangba shu yore de. Ina kelin che sa wajala ta lamsang chengro o ngedi kelin che sa. Ngedi damja che sa ko sabsab che ge lamga yabu shu le byung namnyu me nyama to ba na me chen ko tegba me ko 최장 제도였나 두번 인짐 kuma 잡아 자고 그러면 돼. 쯤디 kulongta doja shena tima nga jadin zorwa. Ta kelen tamche che sawajil tin doja ji kia padang shedang je chungwa da tima nga jala sa kia lamsang chen yung kurwa. O ngay tamche kelen che sare, di chene dhega marada. Lamna kwa yi sabza namjun nangme tangdi san karo nyung du dhugre. Ani dende che che tin ko nyung pento kuyo ba indu ani chenche kyune chegi me se sebe ta donbe top sana me do tamsim de yang kaya chumbu shuji zigre es.
Awesome. So then next we have a power among the four powers that we rely on when we engage in practice of confession. The next second power is power of support. So here, now again, we connect that with the second line of our 4 bullet points. The 3 jewels who are our support are like physicians who can heal the sickness brought on by the poison. So now we need to rely on the support. Otherwise, without having that support of the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, that we take as our witnesses, right? Witnesses to our confession. Without them, our negativities, our past evil deeds cannot just disappear, cannot be relinquished, right? But if we engage in a proper practice of confession, they actually can. Patrul Rinpoche, the author of our text, famously stated that negativities, this kind of evilness, does not have any virtue but one. So it has one good quality. What is the quality of evil deeds? The quality is that they can be purified. Once confessed, they actually can be relinquished. That's a great, right, news. That's great news. So here, in order then to relinquish our negativities, we need to rely on support, the support of the 3 jewels, right? Who are our Buddha is like the guide, the Dharma is the path, and the Sangha is the companions. So we need them, and we bring them to mind so that we visualize them, we rely on them, and that would constitute the power of support. But that's not enough just to like bring them to mind and then not do anything like, oh, that's all. Well, it's going to help already to reduce, to cut through the flow of negativity, but it's not going to relinquish it altogether. The main act that we should be doing is relying on, applying the antidote. And that's the 3rd power, the power of, you can see how they rendered it here, but usually, yes, the power of action as an antidote. It's a power of actual application of the Dharma practice, right? As it says here in the 3rd bullet point is the antidote, which is the sacred Dharma. That's the medicine. So if the power of support is like a really skilled physician, so now when we've swallowed poison and we recognize that we have, remorse, so we rush to hospital and we rely, right? Or, we have that support of a skilled doctor. But that's not enough. Now we need to actually take antidote to the poison, right? That's the main action. Without that, well, we're not going to be cured. And so in the same way with our confession, right, we have the power of support. That's all great, but it's not enough. Now we actually need to practice the Dharma. And that's going to be our medicine. Right? That's going to be the act of taking medication, not only going to hospital. And the 4th power is the power of resolve. And I'll just check the power of, yes, resolve from the depth of our heart. So after we have generated this, regret, then we relied on support. We start practicing the Dharma, right? But afterwards, there's a very, very important last step, which is generating this strong resolve to never commit those negativities again. And as it says here, it comes from the bottom of our heart. So it's extremely genuine wish to, I'm done. I'm not going to do this again. And again, we not talk about only some knowing volitional actions, like severe evil deeds, which we might think, well, I'm not doing that. Here we talk about also habitual, right? Really kind of unconscious, things that drive us in our lives, and we don't even recognize that. Our arrogance, our ego clinging, jealousy, it's kind of our oblivious close-mindedness, it's our desires and wanting something and aversion to something else. All of that is very much stored, right, in a very, very deep level of our minds, and it's there. And in order to purify even those layers, habitual layers, right, we need to have a very strong resolve to henceforth not, right, not to follow after those kind of negative impulses. How does it work? It's going to work really magically. That resolve, just us making that strong resolve is going to pop up, really. It's going to come up whenever we fall prey to our habitual ways, afflicted ways, right? When we sort of follow these negative traits of our being. Next time, we again like very competitive, or we wish something bad on someone, or we really, really want something and we're so touched, right away, the mind will remember that we actually have, made that resolve. The power of resolve is such that we will like, wait a minute, that's again negativity. And don't want to do anything with that anymore. And we actually will be able to step back, right? And that resolve is going to help us over and over again to remind us that we decided not to follow that path once and for all. So that's the four powers, right? From regret to support, then the application of antidote, and the power of resolve to not repeat such actions in the future, right? Even at the cost of one's life. Like, it's that kind of strong resolve that no matter what happens to me, I'm not going to, right, going to be again careless. I'm not going to be inconsiderate. That's the strong power of resolve that restores our body to full strength, if we were going back to the metaphor of swallowing poison. Nasser.
So, Julin Duzi Tao Dushi Jene, Netoma Meden so the Sunjimbe top, Dewe Java so Tenje top, Tama la Ne so the Nimbukundu Chibi top, then the Sangpo She Gamba Niji, Tumbi top Namdi in Tabana Chauda, Tenji She Yu Tonda, Tenzora Shengure, Setas Shungi Sinala, Sunjimbe top de Gotambo, Sozuji, Arjeki Tabalan Gabarwa. 네 텐네 자와로스 라소바데 텐지도비 다 콘조숨 방볼라 네 샤소마 아니 삽삽제기 교지래 가서는 산게 니 뒤숨 체제 말리바 탐제 켄데비래 네 산제지는 눈나 가서 입다 마입 아니 배다 마베지 제버 가야 말 저 탐제 뭐좀 드세데비래 근데 살은데 비 창조 삼반남지자 아니 저 탐제 다 하나씩 세데비래 당가서 디바 제다 맞아서 뭐 코너버 미기 된다더니 이 말이 제발 가야 말에 예시기 전에 담지 뒤다 넘어가면 쓰기 요디 건조 좀지 된다 어저 차나매 내대요 제대되네 된 건조 좀 방법을 샤사위 샤라 아니 마야 sabza 제주 규지 차그로 와 아니 담말은 내게 손님 보고도 줘도 다들 냠보랑 냠는 제대 이래 된데 상보셔도는 마음바랑가 제기 매서 다 sabza 가서 담수 켈는 담자 너나 아니 나르제는 여바다 친제 담샘서 그러 되니 된소지 약보지 상황이나 아니 대바디 다 녀먹고 양나 가서 우리 톱실람난데 톱시 상소나 대바 메다 봐서 그는 짠해요 말해 배나 배기다 라마 밀라르 봐서 근데고 메모버서레데 고 세지 루지라 상제송아 산제 샬쇼베 값소 결보 마제다 세건지 중로에 그런지 빠와 팔 자주 말해 대양 세상에 이나양 그 여바지 제인데서는 그 점마터 장주 선배들 람서 천일의 뭔가 좀더 통화래 아니 다 된데 망보지 연구도 와 그래서 대구 컨저지 샤바 약보 제래 아니 저 약보 좀 주병도 아니 대구바 칸데마도 칸데 제나 양더 파스서 근데 대구바 최셔로 와 참매 망가지 내가로 와 다주 버스서 근데 대구바 최셔지 그래 참매 망가는 지 그래 된데디 미이나야 샤바 약보 제초 약보 좀 줍나 너 답에 여 봐래 대구바 다 샤바 맞아 된데나 대신에 대구바 좀 제가 자주 뭐 맞잖아 양고 다 하나 하고 그래 뭐 되는지
Kunda tama jikpaji mashak dagaran
대바
shana.
쭉 전부 시라야 맞아 되네
Oh, okay.
샤바야 시 맞아 아니 개와야 만도 대바 마마 되네 된데 대잖아 그 다나 하고 그러 인라미라 하고 그래 대바 전부 제바 있나라 종종 제바
That's
있나라 샤그나 된데 다고 요래
mhm. And the powers, the four powers, also come with the verses, right? We practice the branch of confession while going through these verses. So with verses 28 to 46, we cultivate the power of regret, right? We sort of, as it starts here in the text, we bring to mind that in this and all my other countless lifetimes, I spent them wandering in beginningless samsara. In my ignorance, I have committed wrongs and encouraged others to do the same, and so on and so forth. We're not going to read all those verses. You should go through them on your own. They're pretty straightforward if we know what's going on. And what's going on that here through these verses up to verse 46, we generate regret. And the next one, with the verses 47 to 53, we bring to mind the power of support. Thinking about all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, all the holy beings, and knowing that they are actually omnipresent. It doesn't matter if they are alive or if they are already passed away. They know everything through the eyes of their wisdom. They are present with us. So, we kind of been always watched with the compassionate eyes of the Buddhas, their wise eyes. And so they are witnessing our actions. And thinking of that, we have that kind of support to improve, to be better, because we know that, we're not alone. Someone is there for us. There's the support of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas. And then we engage in the actual, practice of antidote with verses 54 to 65. Again, that's on page 13. So if you just go for our text, you can, right, you will see that, you will read the verses. And finally, there's this 2 lines only of verse 65 where we commit ourselves to the power of resolve. Resolve that's very genuine, that comes from the depth of our heart, right? Which says, and these actions, since they are unwholesome, I promise from now on I shall never do again. That's very important, right? Regret and resolve are very, very important. Of course, the all 4 powers are very important. And, there's no any negativity that cannot be purified when we bring to mind these 4 powers. Basically, everything can be purified. You can think of the stories, right, of the masters, beings from the past, like Milarepa, who killed, more than 30 people of his, his family members, and then he generated extremely, strong remorse, right? He practiced, right, relied on the support of his teacher. He engaged in all the practice, remedial practices as the antidotes. And at the end also, he had, not at the end, but he had resolve to never, never commit those negative actions again. And through that, he actually purified the evil deeds committed in the first part of his life and attained full awakening. Also, another story is of Prince Makendra, whose father, the king, was an arhat, like a foe destroyer, someone who had completely purified his emotional obscurations of afflictive emotions, right? He was an arhat, foe destroyer, and yet Makendra killed his own father. And actually killing an arhat is considered one of the most severe evil deeds one can perform. There are 5 of such, like killing one's parents and Buddha or Arhat, and sowing schism in the Sangha. So in this way, actually, that was a very, very severe non-virtue where one goes straight into hell realm in the next life. But he, having recognized this deed as a very, very big, non-virtue, Makendra then engaged in the practices, remedial practices, and again, through regret and remorse, he purified his evil deeds. And there are many stories like that. So, there are stories of great sinners, so to say, who felt regret, strong regret, and then actually became enlightened beings after years of practice. And then there are stories of those who don't commit a very, very strong non-virtue, but they also don't practice virtue. And then they don't confess anything. And, they left like that. So like nothing really bad, nothing really good. And so they're not going to achieve greatness because they're not really recognizing their deeds as something wrong or something bad, and then purifying them. In a way, being a big sinner, but then feeling remorse and practicing is even better. It can achieve you those great results, not to inspire people to do negativities, but just to understand that this is the power of confession. That's all.
So, 아니 데자라 시바 제주의 랑와 당 제된레 데비 계자 대우던 제바 군라 닝타번네 가신 제주의 랑와다 제에서 아니 다시 제주의 랑와데 인자레 나다 흉자와 거란다 섬진군지 속 선다 쓰여서레 제주다 제주의 랑데 가르레서 되잖아 나저 현재 개월라 미 현재 약보 제조당 개월전으로 차도 난게래 디미 시가 소로지여래 미 파주 약보 자스나든 때에서는 미데 면대로 좀 칸에 쓰다면 랍도께 거디디 드기보다 디디 진이니레스 견도지 챙으로 디디 돈도 소소섬제 차도를 되여래 다디 차도데 준비 년보텔라 는 가르쳐고래 제주여랑 제고고래서 ane chezu yerang chenda pendo karu yore lamna parulba mi kewaji cheba ina rangi yi yang kala kem mego be kewa di ranyam tobi nyoba yore mi je se kala magba kyab chwe yakbo chu dhubu yoba che dil ope yakbo re tenso na kewa ranyam tobi zara kala kanya kyago mare chezong ko dhaba ina dha megya ina dha nangba ina dha nangba mayinba ina dha chwe chege ina dha chwe mejege ina dha 수익당 수직을 내가 약보 제거는 되는 거죠. 제주 예랑 제주는 섬기버로 와. 강성다 강에 가요 말에. 어디디 인도 랑 펜도 된다 인도는 제사 시디 랑기 개와이나다 현재 개와이나다 개와 용도랑 가서 제주 예랑 제주 그래. 소소지 개와엄마 된조 이 뒤서라 개와 제비 떠블었네. 단단 가서 최단 쳐버려. 최로 퇴선 이제 연난다 매난다 퇴섬 공존 제 과가브라고디 개왕음에 내 상보지 때는 제요래 딜라 제조 예란 제거래 개왕음마 좀 맞아 제딜 충중내 단다 보는 가서 개왕 망보 제도 하오래 딜라 양 아주 제조 예란 제고 그래 제조 예란 제는 개와디 펠로로 와 개와디 제보 단다 제 메고바 뭐만나서 깔에 제 메고바 개와 전념 톱서 근데 현 개와디 제들라 규원의 양 제주이랑 제아요래 레우 원의 양 제주이랑 제아요래 규원의 단나깔에 잡시마 가셔야되네 장주 선배 남란 냠는 제게 유들에 가시 년도에 남냠는 제게 유들에 가시 란냠 남냠는 제게 유들에 가시 대 많이 봐 그랑 소소소소지 최규 좋다 그런 게 줘야 되네 냠는 제게 유들에 가시 최kel 밀는 나양 선바 상보도네 아니 내가 상보망부 누구 얘기래 그래서 상마한테 규래 규된서 강라양 제주 이런 제주 그래 레우만나 상보도는 레우 라이 고방 토바 미인 고방 토바 아니 미인자 대화도 기부 중화 하는 그런 게 레우 내가 약보 강도 중화 된서 상마래 아니 때에서 야가 있나 아니 가시 자주 뭐 토바 가시 장주선 람 gyula jeba, kaja sang jeba yungurwa. Dinzo tsangma la yang, nga su che su irang chi na kawa kumgura. Su dang su kibu dang dewa yabu tongsa na, pe yabu re samde che su irang kawa kumna, gyudik niga tongda, pe yunde danyam tab tuku yure. Dende chi shu shana.
The fourth branch is the branch of rejoicing. So we have that on top of our page 15, where the text reads, cultivate a genuine sense of joy and celebrate all the mundane and super-mundane sources of virtue and their fruits while reciting these verses, 4 verses. Well, here with these verses, we sincerely rejoice and take delight in all the roots of virtue of, worldly and transcendental beings. So mundane and super mundane virtue, along with the results of that virtue. So how to understand this practice? The practice of rejoicing is the practice that is an antidote to our afflicted emotion of jealousy. And we all prone to jealousy and competitiveness. No, not all, but most of us, let's say, right? When we hear someone was successful, someone had achieved great results, we feel a little bit of some kind of discomfort. And then often we just even want to slander that being, well, yes, but he also or she's also like that and like this. Why are we doing that? Well, it all comes from the sense of insecurity in ourselves, which is like kind of propels us to feel jealous, right, and compete, or feel envy. And an antidote, a remedy to that very negative, actually, state of mind is the practice of rejoicing. What are the benefits of this practice? Actually, it's going to bring about great benefit for ourselves. When we rejoice, it is said that we, through the practice of rejoicing, we gain the same amount of virtue that the other person has been, accumulating. So when, we basically witness someone doing something virtuous, wholesome, and we rejoice, we gain the same amount of virtue without us actually going through any difficulties. The other person might be striving, being generous, right, cultivating patience and all this, it's hardship on the path. And us, just by merely looking and then feeling, joy and take delight in that in that person's virtue, we actually accumulate the same amount of merit and goodness. This is great practice, right? It's so easy to gain merit by just being happy for others. And by others, we mean anyone, literally anyone. It could be a monk, it could be a layperson, it could be a practitioner of the Dharma or non-practitioner. It could be Buddhist, non-Buddhist, it doesn't matter. Anyone who is doing something good and something wholesome, we can be happy, including actually for ourselves too. It's not only rejoicing in others' virtue, it's also rejoicing in our own goodness, in our own virtue that we have accumulated in the past. And we surely did, because right now, the result of us being able to study the Dharma, reflect on the Dharma, put it into practice, train our minds, meditate, all of this is actually a result of us previously accumulating some merit, some virtue, maybe in past life or even like in childhood, right? Being compassionate, being kind, then results in these wonderful opportunities to work on ourselves, to improve ourselves. And we should rejoice, we should appreciate our own good deeds of the past, right? And same, we should appreciate the good deeds of the beings that we witness right now. And that would be rejoicing in the cause. So the cause here is the act of doing something wholesome. When someone is practicing something good, right? This is the cause that we're rejoicing in. Maybe we see beings practicing a Shravaka path or Bodhisattva path, right, of their own spiritual path. Or maybe they're not spiritual or religious, but they're really, really good, decent people who are helping and serving others. And so when we encounter those kind of beings and them performing their good deeds, we rejoice in the cause. Rejoicing in the result would be rejoicing in their attainment of human life or God's life and their happiness, well-being. And we see someone is not doing something virtuous necessarily right now, but they are well off, they are healthy, they are happy, they got it all together, so to say, and we should rejoice. This is the result of their past good actions. So we can actually already rejoice in their results of their happiness. We can rejoice in their well-being, in their achievements. So that would be rejoicing in the results, right, of the virtue. Or we can rejoice in the actual act of, practicing and doing something good. That would be rejoicing in the cause. Well, of course, the great, results that we can rejoice in if we see someone practicing the spiritual path, the Buddhist path, and then becoming an arhat, a foe destroyer, like the result of Shravakas. Pratyeka Buddhas means they have completely conquered their afflictive emotions and they're free of that. How amazing. It's such a freedom. We can rejoice in that. Of course, it would be great to rejoice in someone entering onto the Bodhisattva path and now dedicating their lifetimes to, bringing all beings to awakening. It's a great reason to rejoice. Or we can rejoice in someone achieving Buddhahood, beings who actually come to full awakening. Right, so those kind of results of spiritual path are great also opportunities for practice of rejoicing.
Ngaba chogi korlo koror kulwa tangsa. Ta chogi korlo korwa kulwa de ta choju du choju tamjana chobe dana sanje na chanje samba na ta na chindu. Ani chogi tsekdun do rangni ji hienba. Nyam zonlangen nyje chambo do tembe ta kanza. Suna soyeba tamjana dana solata bere sibere. Ta kari solata bore sibere. Sen kalba thongme ne thanda pardo mari bomba dingane thumne ne shakin je samjin so langdur ne shege mare she na ya nyamlen chero chege mare nyamlen chegara che na ya che mi she ba nega do den goma tun la de ga mangbo yore tenzo sangma ji ani kange mari ba na ani kale tenzo sangma salye che do ani kena mo choju khorlo corona menga tama do na ro na 한 도산에 솔로다베레 다 소소케 미 담발와 있는 아주 미나 미톤에 저 고로 제수 쉬나마도 하고 말어와 아니 다 상계당 살는데 그 장제서 만남라이나 능 아주 가원에 솔로담나 양 투지 공주고요 또 첸주고요 근데 상계 단다 지금데 감 장매 바인데 가와를 상계 저 마블라 상계 망부셔라다는 쇼 샤쇼당 쇼신바래 나저 잘래라고 이게 말해 가서 통투고 여기 말해. 이나 가서 솔로답도 땡땡 챙겨래. 아니 내내 챙겨요도 있는 저랑 게 추주고도 또 넘바고도 코로나서 때 상제 나라 장주 삼바 몽고 셔라지 쇼요도 하고와. 근데 거나 근데 땡땡 거나메데 다들 다가 가서 측점 just 솔로답선도 때문에 팬도에 하고 마송. 그거는 샘딩네 인 타반네 아니 샘전 탐질로 또 자와 니지 심보 공네 chojukulukun kangla kangdul di chogo kogore. Injimenji tekpa chenpo chojibu korlamna degi marwa. Nyendo di rejende zo lao dogore. Nyendo di chojibu songro chilamna degi marwa. Tekpa chenpo rejende zo lao dogore. Tene tekpa chenpo chojung doda nga la soba kangla kangdulu chojukulu tene. Koro nang sana tene so tab kogore tamna ten kongnamba di tuju kone kangla kangdulu chosunggu yubare. Di chena yang 가서 저기 걸로 걸고 솔라타바 인도 근데 답하면 medela 소나 빠도 메베 사토 부여래
Yes. So nam pagdum sekendi
메바 솔라타킨 저런 게
solvataken.
솔라타나 저런 라서나 밤에 사겨요 네 솔라타나 나라
Lainla. That was for the fourth branch of us practicing rejoicing. And the fifth branch is in middle of our page 15. It's the branch of requesting the turning of the Dharma wheel. So here, we request the teachers to turn the wheel of Dharma, which is a practice where we supplicate, where we beseech the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, practitioners, so any compassionate beings to consider us and bestow on us some instructions, some teaching, some guidance. And the reason for this request is that sentient beings are ignorant and confused, and they are lost with regard to what to do, what is good, and what to avoid, what to refrain from, what is bad for them. So in this way, they don't even know what is, good for them, what is bad. And in order to just help them to wake up from that kind of confusion, in order to help them to dispel the darkness of ignorance, of not knowing, we request the beings, the teachers, the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and other compassionate beings to give some instructions, to give guidance, to give teachings. I'm not sure about other people or other compassionate beings that we beseech in this way by sitting in our room. But as for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they are everywhere. As I said, they're omnipresent, and they will pay heed to our requests, because there are many different universes, right? And in all those universes, there are also enlightened beings who have appeared or who are appearing right now. So there are multiple Buddhas, the awakened ones, in countless universes, right? We might not be able to encounter them or see them, but if we request them, right, even from just our own cushion, they will hear us. Of course, the request shouldn't be just a mere lip service, like reading a verse, la 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 blah blah. I mean, it should come from the bottom of our hearts. If we genuinely, send out that prayer, that request, supplication, please, right, consider all of us confused and lost beings, and please give us guidance, then the teachings will appear in this universe for the beings. And the teachings will guide the beings according to their own needs. So this is important. We're not only requesting the teachings of the Mahāyāna, those who are interested to, become bodhisattvas. It's not for everyone. There are beings who are interested in their own personal liberation and not interested in liberating all Shravakas, right? Like that, Pratyeka Buddhas. So we actually also request, the teachings for them that will guide them. But then we don't request only teachings for them alone, but also for everyone. And everyone has their own predisposition, their own faculty, their own capacity. And so it's very important here to be very open-minded and inclusive by requesting the guidance and teachings for everyone according to their own needs and wishes. And so in this way, we send out this kind of prayer, that supplication, and it's definite that the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas will pay heed, and the teachings and guidance and PIF instructions will appear in for all the beings. And the one who requests, like if it's us, thereby will accumulate a lot of merit, a lot of goodness. Right? When we request teachings for all beings, actually the one who requests is gaining a lot out of it, a lot of merit.
So teni chupa nyangale mitawar solo de bare. O ta nashindo chokchu nashubi sanje da chanchu samba da nintu ranja la soba ane semjinji kun da punya tambar gyurba de samjimbe de bo shuyu gyure. Tenzo ane kuze nyangale mitawar ane kuze tembo shugro na solo da bere. Ta khona ba ta kuze shabet namba yina ane ku sonam pangdu neba toblu chu shaba ye ne ndo yinzang ku su tin shuba samje jan kaung do shube sa cho tenzo la rangshin je phamba dan dewa nang rangshin je sa je tenzo la ane sa je nang samjin je sangma la ane ka so phendo ba yong ge yore ta cho song ba dang ane ta jaba tin la cha chu ba dang ge yore ne ya ba yin ga te ma na ba ta shu ge yore na Dinzoji shuba tsamdinya mi mangbola, mi chibu marita, di sacha di samja mangbola pendo kuyo ba indi, ta kuza nyangala mi dawa ni, tani londa lo shuro nang sigiri. Dodon tila kyachuma nang yinda yin karwa. Tani, ta shuksa na shiraji pendo yo ba indi, nyangala mi da kuza tani, chikde ta dira, kashiya tani, sangye dang chanchu zamba kashiya tani, sola tabka me sona, kurang kongba nyangala di ni shak rukure. Kuza solatabu yona, digi solatabu ngi shuwa de la tenje yang, kuza de singche. Da sozo kewa ina nga zo sede ringbu tang tang tungu tang sana rawang kaya yu mare. Sa zuwa di changje zamba ina, yang na sangje dang nyarang tenzo ina, konzo chedi nyendwa ta rangjel tashunba tenzo ra. Kuza de singya yore, kuza de yun ringdu tang yu chingi labe yu nyoba yungu yore. Tenze yun diyo zana, konzo kuze 다 윤종부 쇼로 나가서는 가서 단다 솔라다도 텐데 생기래 산소나 되네 저도 찍기이나라 간마 찍기이나라 로단 다와이나다 라브레 근데 테네지 kuze 때 윤종부 쇼나 텐데 섬지 망보절로 팬도도 거와 제자니 kuze 냥갈 메다 솔라다브로 나서 랍나랍잖아 다 겨워 차범에 나신도 공부 어범에 나신 전에 kuze 다 대종매보다 지선 잠비안 나잖아 kuze 가지는 대종매보 쇼로 나서 고름버지 당 메마메다든서 단다 여러와 때로 나로바든서 단다 슈그데 여러와 나조지 레만람 다마다 잘가라 마르데 덴덴 미도데 가드나 여래 나 바이 잘가 까만도 데 나지고 좀도 장면만 보고 좀 슈그데 여래 나조 잘토고 메바데 나조지 레 예선함지 톱지래 다 가시 든서는 대종 매바 슈해야 여래 가시 양 미기 톱지다 종현도 주도와 나로바도지라 섬로다나 미기 통나라 택마숨 정조도 통하래 나로바 종 공부 조성 쓰기래 이나 원해지는 공부 조에 말아 단다 여래 그 마르바 지금 마르바로자 택마숨바 야갈라 페비용도 조지 발다드셔지는 마르바 저런 게 라마 나로바네 가장 되저들에 되는 통송스나 계제 퇴송 다 야갈 페마베 여 말을 라지 공 우즈견의 펩송도 펩인데 나로바 잘 양 최상마 유도와 대 맞아 치즈 명망보 지금 바유다 자가르나 사질 나로바 자블로기 망보 요래 다 가시 때는 공바 조회서로지 연구도 가시 여 공바 조회 맨나양 다 미고라 레즈 이 네바 섬진치 레서 그러 소놈사 네바데 때 말로 조용도 근데 상제나 장제 선보다 락조건도 지차그래 데 가장마 지슈여서 니마 상제기 니마데 가드나 여래 나도 추데 감성나 니마데 소년샤에데 락조도와 추데 여나 추상만다 저보 자체중 코랑코랑도 뜀비 니마지 소년데 텐덴 샤르그래 추고랑 감성나데 니마 소년 매바 차기도와 그 코랑라 대종 예매 말에데 나조 진원데 단탕만나래 디데 단다 솔라 덴데 타 딜라데는 코랑지 꾸양 쇼스기르 나조 소놈냐사기래 다 디니지 네발라테네 아니 대야서 고즈샤베 템바로 나조 낭줄라 덴데 낭스기로와 소조케와이나다 고즈샤베 템야서노 솔라 차마제 샤라샤라 판도 요마레 코 레지도 교드와로와 다사 토바 yen바이나 덴덴디 노바춤보여레 나서
The sixth branch is that of requesting beings, holy beings, not to pass into nirvana. So here we supplicate the teachers not to pass away, not to pass beyond the suffering into nirvana. So we supplicate here the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas who reside in the 10 directions. And in other words, we request them to live long. And if the beings like who are on the Bodhisattva grounds, if they do live long, it's going to bring about benefit and happiness to many beings around them. We're not only talking about then if they live longer, they will teach more. And so, of course, that would very, explicitly benefit beings, through the teachings and giving the methods. But even without, if those beings will remain, live long and not teach, just by the virtue of how they are, it will already very implicitly benefit many beings, not only humans, but also all other beings who surround them, even if they don't teach. Just kind of, the energy, they're around the kind of this field of energy around these beings will be different, and it will benefit everyone. And so here, therefore, we supplicate such great beings not to pass away. And through this supplication, there is a way to those beings to prolong their life. Some of them, if they're not supplicated, well, then they just pass away. But if they are asked to remain long, to live long, they will stay longer. And we might wonder, how is that possible? Because we as ordinary beings, we know that we don't have control over our lifespan, right? Once it's over, it's over. But bodhisattvas who reside on the bodhisattva grounds, on the bhumis, and also like arhats, the four destroyers, the highest achievement of shavakas, pratyeka Buddhas, those beings, they do have control and power over own lifespan. And they can prolong it if they are requested. They can live longer, maybe just for some minutes, maybe for some days. And of course, the best would be if they live longer for months and years, and it will benefit so many beings around them. And they do have that power. Some of them have power to even just like really not pass away at all. For now, we know beings like Guru Rinpoche or Vimalamitra, Tilopa, Naropa, they are still present. Really, beings, encounter them, and they know that they didn't really pass away. They still there. Of course, not everyone can encounter them, and that depends on the personal karma and the personal amount of merit of individuals. But even there are stories when people thought in the past in India that Naropa had already passed away. Like when Marpa, his disciple, went from Tibet to India to receive teachings, like for the third time, he met, first of all, Atisha, and Atisha told him, oh no, Naropa passed away, we saw it. But Marpa didn't stop him, and he still traveled, and he actually did meet Naropa. He did receive the teachings. So the beings like that, they can keep living, really. They have that power, but, not everyone will see it. And how it works, I had already given an analogy some days ago, that they are like the sun, always there, but sometimes it's covered, right? And, and sometimes what happens is that if a body of water on the ground is dried up, then the sun's, will not be reflected. And it's not the fault of the sun, but it's kind of the fault of the body of the water. And that's basically us. If we don't have karma, right, we will not, so to say, reflect, right, the presence of the beings, like the sun is not reflected if there's, no water. And that's how it works with bodhisattvas and with the Buddhas and the great beings. They do have that power, that control over their own lifetime span, and we can request them to remain long, and it will actually change something. It will actually bring about different result. They will live longer. If we request ordinary beings, that might not result in much, because, well, even if we ask them, beseech them, supplicate, please don't pass away, well, they don't have that capacity to decide. But because the bodhisattvas on the grounds have this practice, it makes sense, and it's very, very also powerful in a way that we will going to accumulate a lot of merit by requesting those teachers to remain and live long, because they will benefit many beings in their turn. And so then through that request, we're going to get good karma.
소지 세든 점버자서 네 담아데 네 연락 돈 받는 거와 작유래 거와데네 양 당신기 제샤베기 네 되숨제 개와 탐제 직도 되네 뭐저고요 다 삭제기 개와 이난다 사매 개와 이난다 아니 개와 최종 다 강다 강한 제바 탐제 직도 뒤네 아니 산제 뒤숨제 산제다 전주 선만음제 칸데 뭐예요 봐 내야 되는 신도 뭐게 있냐 봐이나 아니 가서 그래 뭐 제좀 봐서 그래 가족이 뭐 말랑만에 장내 제바이나 밀바 미베도네 뭐 제고 그래 내가 소소 제워지 연구 말해 단다 딱 뒤숨제 산제다 전주 선만음제 뭐와 나 중국에 인사라바나 대다 제주도 맘다와 섬지 자기 여상 아니 대양 여보 좀 마셔라요래 다양 소소지 대 삼로 먹보다는 건도요나 아니 뒤숨도 사be 개와 나랑 신지 사 제비 사제 삼로 개와 탐제 찍도 되네 되네 기 개와 톱라 때네 아니 나랑 다 sem전 탐제 이되네 내가 비 동al 나 동al 제 규든 좀아 시월 쇼지스 대화나 대회 규든 저래베 중월 쇼지스 아니 sem전 탐제 사나 남제 렘바도 저래베 렘버트 하나 딱 강에 지든지 감돌라 내 목에 되는 가서라 막 손자 차 라소바지 되네 강에 rab다는 막 가양 중스 그래 내가 뒤 강에 담제야 근데 매버 차버죠 다르도 다 강에도 독숨된 줄 알아 독숨 탐제 자원이 내 매버 전에 남자 선지 지고 바로 뭐죠 또 벌써 다 대단 대중지고네 뭐 말하면 소다 가르치는 저거와 동거 다 가서 그래 랑신 탐제 대화 토비 교조대 장주 예산들은 뭐지 아니 바로 도시 뭐쪽 된조래 돼요 된조 심지 탐제지 대 조주는 냠조랑 토버쇼 냠조랑네 대조 양도 뭐죠 토버쇼지 어때네 좀 가서 뭐 말하면 제적으로 와 나서
And the seventh branch is the branch of dedication. And we do the last three branches, the fifth, sixth, and seventh, by bringing to mind the meaning of the following verses, verse 5 to verse 10. Right? And here what we dedicate, excuse me, we dedicate all the virtue which might be defiled by our ego clinging, or it can be pure virtue, completely undefiled, uncontaminated by any selfish agendas. And all of that virtue, whether it's contaminated or not, we bring it all together. So we kind of bring to mind the virtue of ourselves and all beings accumulated in the past, in the present, and in the future. And we dedicate all of the goodness, for the benefit of all beings. And what we do, often we bring to mind, do we dedicate in a way of saying, well, may I dedicate just like the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas dedicate their virtue, like following their footsteps. This is the practice of approximation, dedication through approximation, because the real dedication should be carried out without grasping to any reference point, without holding on to anything. Self, other, the one who dedicates, the one that, virtue is dedicated toward. But as beings right now, as we are on the path, we don't have that power to dedicate in that completely pure way without holding on to any reference point. And Buddhas, Bodhisattvas do. So we just, when we dedicate, we say, may I dedicate following the footsteps of those great beings, just like they dedicated, I dedicate exactly in the same way. And what do we dedicate it towards? We dedicate our virtue, our goodness, our merit towards, benefit, welfare of all beings. We wish them to be free of all their suffering, their discontentment, their misery, pain, and all the causes of their suffering, their disturbing emotions. And we dedicate all our goodness towards their happiness and the causes of happiness, which is, compassionate, virtuous deeds. We wish them to traverse the bodhisattva grounds and attain the highest result, that of a Buddha, right? Becoming a fully enlightened beings. Likewise, along with those spiritual requests, we dedicate our merit and goodness so that all the sickness, famine, wars in the world cease to be, so that free mental poisons of aversion, anger, desires, and ignorance of all beings may be relinquished, be purified. And because the best way to unfold one's potential, become a Buddha, is to practice bodhicitta and then the 6 paramitas, the one we will look at later. So we also then wish the beings to engage in the practice of bodhicitta and the 6 paramitas, and so on. So we can make all those kind of dedications, right? Heartfelt wishes and aspirations, right? At the end, that's the 7th branch. At the end of all branches, we take all the virtue of ourselves and all beings, we combine it in our minds, and we dedicate it towards the kind of goodness of all beings without any exception. And we stop here for today with the text. And so we finished the 7 branches. And now there's time for questions and answers. So feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question, or if you want to remain silent, you can just send us your question in the chat. Mm-hmm. Well, it looks like maybe there are no questions. Yeah, yes, Samare. Oh, Khenpo gi chik sunja yona re karmadu Khenpo gi the chick shanda chikare. Oh, maybe actually, Eleanor, you unmuted yourself. Do you have a question?
Oh, yeah, I was just going to type it in. I was wondering how often one should do these vows. Is it okay to do it once, or do you repeat it, or do you repeat part of it? Is it like their anniversary, you do it once a year?
You mean this is not the vow yet? I mean, this is the 7 branches, right? That you ask how often we should do them. And by repeating, do you mean repeat each branch, or just do you mean like do all 7? How often we should do all 7, or how much we should repeat each branch when we do them, just to make sure?
No, all 7.
Okay.
Because it seems like it's one experience.
Yeah, it's a package. Yeah, it's a package of. Kempala di like dundi nyamlindi not so kresa. How often the chick di not so manlu chegore lochik tenchik chegore pe yana tsam chegore pe yana chikni matak par da kanjes chegore.
Yala tumba di nyamlendi rab chungsona yema takbar chetumna pembasa yabore. Sonam sakuguyo na mesa nyoba chumbore. Nazo kalba thame sonam saksakanda di tuzo ringbore. Kadu yin min chera gochaya yo marwa. Di tsangma yala tumba nanglo zum gudu zum guyo zang sonam shuji nyoba kalba thame mangbo jeso tuzo chigla zo tebe nyoba. Yala tumba na yo bare. 소소 되어들 라오 탑 산제지 탑 개발 통해 송샤기기 네 명아지래 자선디 냐마다바 chen 야고 요래 요래도 덴지 책상만 된 거고 말 조 돈다래 아무 되니 배잖아 책든저 책 되나 양 개발이 말은 만드나 양 개발이 말 돈다대 상고로 와 책도는 상조지 건도 책이 너무 돼야 말은 차서봐도 최지 시험보다 제주에는 꾸준 솔로이 개화 중서 다그 지서 봐 탐주조배 전주 지름만 로지나 책 하셔마도 면도 아니 된대로 책 윤용주나데 양 책시시시 여기냐 망보 요래 그저 담면은 아니 디 맨은 소소지 얘기 삼라단 저라다고 군주서 뭐 차살 아니 가서라 잡수조 대과 샤바체 제주랑 곰 아니 고만냥을 메다와라는 솔라도 최주 콜로코로 솔라도 뭐하든 얘기거네 된데 제샤나 대한테 그래 저런게 다 몰람도 너무 자신 보제 제도요나 담은 연락 좀 받이 인지미 주로tum나 빼야 보여래 연락 좀 받이 제서 되게 손놈 쇼제 사서래 손놈 빵매제 사고 보여래 아니 손놈 빵매제 사서 제라 되네 제라 된 저런 영어와도 몰람 자신 보제 답도요나 되게 저런 손놈지 네바들 된제 아니 주베 레로 쇼제 차고 그래 디 연락 좀 받이 균도 냠내 자도나 약쇼래 인지미지 쪼주나 시그디 측상만 조고 말아 측상만 조 야보주는 그냥 로지라 택마치 지나제 아니 다와레레라 택막 찍 지나제 야나 다와레레라 가서 세상 도상 세근도 덴데캅캅도 지나야데 그래 로지라 산제 이충비 뒤주 녀마 대지 라 딱바 지나야데 그래 아니 고rum바지 총거서로 당 뒤주 덴데레레 택마치 지나야데 그래 돈닥디 녀마 레레 딱바 냠는 나도나 손음 쇼사그와
Yes, the best is to do the 7 branch practices every day. And because if we need to accumulate a lot of merit in a very easy and swift manner, then there is no better method than the 7 branch prayer. And we do need to accumulate merit if we are on the Bodhisattva path towards Buddhahood. It is said that it will take 3 countless eons, right? The accumulation of merit should be of the, pertaining to this 3 countless eons. And we don't know when we have started. So maybe it's a lot still ahead of us. And the best way, to accumulate a lot in a very, very, easy and fast manner is to practice 7 branch prayers. And the Buddha knew that, so he put together this, because he was very skilled in means, so he gave this brief instruction of the 7 branch prayer. But when I say every day, it doesn't mean that you need to sit down and recite the verses, right? All the verses. It's not important if you read it out loud and you read the words or not. It's really about the meaning of these practices. It's not about just sitting down and doing the practice by reciting it. Actually, there is one verse that combines all 7 branches. I will type it in the chat after the class today. So you will have like just 4 lines that sort of put together all 7 branches. But even it's not about reciting it. It's about practicing the meaning of those branches in our lives. So it means that, when you go through your daily life, if you can bring to mind, right, like offer whatever, remember we talked about whatever beautiful, pleasant you encounter, you offer that. And then you ask, you go for refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, you confess your negativities. You don't need to necessarily recite something, you just can leave the meaning of that practice in your heart, like you want to, I want to purify, you feel regret, you take resolve, I don't want to be angry like this again, for example, right? You don't need to sit down at that moment and do. You can just like bring to mind that regret, and then resolve, and then you rejoice when you see, goodness and well-being of others. When they do something really wholesome, you rejoice, and you request the teachings. You request, this request again happens just in your mind, in your heart. And with dedication, whenever, right, something good you have done, said, helped others, you can pause for a moment and make aspiration, like, may that benefit all beings. You give it, you share it with others. So you can do that every day. This is the way we need to live, by practicing in this way our lives. They are not just the practices that once a year we need to remember by reciting them out loud. They need to be experienced. And the best would be every day, but of course, there's also formal element. If we want to go through the verses, it's also beautiful. And we can do that on a special days, like full moon day, new moon day, Guru Rinpoche days every 10th lunar day, like whatever we can, day we feel like every month is this more special, auspicious lunar day. We can sit down and actually read the verses. And we have all of them here in the practice. So, for example, that could be done, but it's not like a must I mean, it's good to be reminded by reciting verses. It also helps us to be reminded how to practice. But the main practice should be happening in our daily lives. So. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anna, there's another question in the chat.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you. The issue is that my chat sometimes. Can you read it out loud, please? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it's slow.
It's from Audrey.
Yeah, go
Audrey,
ahead. Sorry.
Read it?
Yeah. Go ahead. You can read my text now. Yeah, no worries.
Great.
Khenpo talked about unconscious habits like ego clinging, jealousies, etc., and resolving to not commit them. Again, point number 4. But this is a great question. How do we go about recognizing these unconscious habits?
Derin Khenpo natsu shakpe kapsu topshi yorera. Tene natsu dampo di dikpa di migeva di shene de chik jungva da mashene de chik natsa hamakone natsu noshi gimindu tsam natsora de chik bakchak yore da nyomompe bakchak natsu noshi gimindu ina yan de je yungedu nima tak par natsu shedang lasokpa di natsu no mashen de chik shegimindu natsu kanjes dampu di noshi gore ra a di dukchare di migeva re da chik ra shak da chik natsu noshi gore. Di can just noshi gore, конечно, di natsu mashena. Di can natsu.
Da di moshi che do lobjong che gore. Tana nga zo tawa chi ring ni ning nangla. Da di toksum kare re di ngojo kang zam che leb yong gore. Tana tunda shi nangla nga zo chunju komrum do gore. Di tunda shi che la tunda shi kyasin lang do di. Ani kyarangi toksum tonga kande razana peche salbu chagire.
Yes. Well, in order to recognize our habitual non-virtuous like patterns, destructive patterns, we need to study. And that's what we're doing here. We have to receive an introduction, an explanation. What are these free poisons? How do they, appear? And in the duration of 1 month, we're going to look at this text. And then afterwards, we will study the 37 practices of the Bodhisattvas. And really, I think after these 2 texts, it will become very, very clear. And when it's very clear, we have a very clear picture, what is virtue, what is not, then we will be able to recognize, and differentiate what we are doing as virtuous or non-virtuous. So studies will help. Why don't I see? Is there someone typing something else? I'm trying to see the questions, but somehow.
Oh, I'm typing something, but as we're out of time, maybe it'll be for tomorrow.
I see. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you're texting in the chat. There's this 2 chats, 3 chats, and the best would be for me, if you text it right when you press in the bar down, we have the microphone where you unmute yourself, and there's a little text, show conversation. If you press that and type there, it will appear. I'm just saying for future. But yeah, I think we will. Kempula danda trivachik dadun yore danda shuna yanasani. We have 2 minutes, so you can.
It's a long question. I think it should be for tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, good. Yes. Okay. Chiva ditets rimpodus sani shuna yagares. Yes, then it's better. Okay. Yes, then we will dedicate the merit. Now it is good.
Chanjo semjo remboji Mage banan ge gyurunji, 结巴娘巴没巴样， Gong ne gong do belwa ra shu